Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jędrzej Harłampowicz. I work at the Gdynia Maritime University in the Department of Logistics and Transport Systems. And today I have a pleasure to deliver a lecture regarding the circular economy in logistics as a part of your ATAL faculty development program. So first of all, let me introduce myself. So, as I said, I'm a lecturer at the Gdynia Maritime University. I also deliver lectures to other universities as well as the business events. I also cooperate with business, with the Polish Chamber of Logistics and Freight Forwarders. Among it, I'm also a sailor and a sailing coach of the Polish national Variant class. Last year, my competitors won the silver medal at the World Championships, which was the first ever medal won by the Polish team at that regatta. I also sail. I have won several national championships. I have participated in Worlds and European Championship in J70, cadet class, OK dinghy, etc. And I also like the martial arts. For more than 15 years, I trained wushu, which is the Chinese martial art. I also several times won the nationals in that competition when I fought under the limit of the 70 kilograms. So that's about me and how today's lecture will gonna look. So first of all, I will just start a little bit about some background information regarding the circular logistics and why this aspect of logistics within the circular economy and within the economy in general is so important. Then I will present you some elements regarding the confirmation of the fact that transport is in fact a backbone of the global economy. Further, I will try to present you some current and future challenges and opportunities that the society as well as the business owners need to face. Then we will try to find some answer on the question how to be future-proof in the context of those challenges and how to gain from these opportunities. And we will finish everything with some conclusions. So first of all, as you all probably know very well about the circular economy and the circular economy in logistics, is the fact that this aspect is a very broad aspect which has immense impact on our lives, and this impact will only increase in time. So the main feature of the circular economy is to use, recycle, and the materials that we are using. So basically, we can state that the three main principles of the circular economy, driven by design of this paradigm, is to first eliminate waste and pollution. Second, keep the material and products in use at the highest value. And third, to regenerate the natural system. Therefore, this design is contrary to the typical linear take, make, and waste design, which can be perceived as the linear economy, in which we are living in many countries right now. Some countries try to rearrange this model and implement some of the circular economy aspects into the economy. And I will give you some examples of those actions later. Sorry? Okay. So basically, the circular economy model is creating the closed loops where the practices as the reuse or repair or remanufacturing of products and its recycling is made to minimize the resource use and pollution. And why it is so important? Why this reusing and the minimizing of the resource use and minimizing of the pollution is so important in the context of global global aspect? So here you can see the global risks ranked by severity over the short and the long term. The short term is 2 years period and the long term is 10 years period. This research has been made by the World Economic Forum during the annual global risk report. And the aspect which is repeatable in last few editions is the fact that in this long term, the environmental aspects, the environmental risks are getting more and more important regarding to other areas. So even though in this short period globally, the most important or the most severe risk is the fact of the crisis of the cost of living. However, in the long term, as you can see, among the first six risks, the first four are dedicated to the environmental aspects. And if we look closer at it, so the failure to mitigate climate change or failure of climate change adaptation or biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse, these risks are directly and indirectly correlated with our manufacturing system and our global production, therefore our global economy. That's why these aspects are also very important in the context of circular economy and logistics. So I also looked up what were the first five risks in India, and I noticed that there are no environmental aspects risk in the short term. However, as you can see, the first, which is the very important and it is a challenge that we need to face nowadays globally, is the misinformation and disinformation, which also currently accelerating also in the context of environmental aspects regarding the Silk Road economy and the fact that we don't need it because if we will implement it, we will just make less money. We will earn less money. In short term, yeah, but in long term, earning money is obviously important. However, the more important aspect is whether there will be any money to earn. And if we will stay on our current path, the possibility of this negative scenario is unfortunately rising. So here you can see the map with the places where the extreme daily temperatures have been assessed, have been evaluated in period between July 23 and July 24. Why this is important? So basically, from the social point of view, it's unbearable to live in places where the daily temperature rises more to the level where the proteins are destroyed by the temperature. In Poland, even in Poland, we had like for last few years, our summertime is also every year beating a record, which in my opinion is not very good to say that beating a record in some kind of aspects like higher temperature is suitable because as I think beating records always should only be regarded to something positive. And for example, in Europe, there is actions made by Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, or Finland, which is not a Scandinavian, but yeah, they were promoting the culcations since the temperatures during the summertime in Europe has risen to the unbearable levels for European people. Like we are not used to having a summer when we have 35 or 40 degrees in the shadow. It's too much for us. We cannot function normally in this kind of weather. That's why the North Europe, the Scandinavian countries, have proposed this promotion like the culcation. So basically, you can go and spend your summer in more bearable conditions. And what from the global logistics level, what is the aftermath of those temperatures? Maybe right now it's not so obvious, but if you know, and as you can imagine, the higher temperature, the higher the higher level of the water evaporation. The higher level of water evaporation, the lower the river level. And why river levels is so important in the context of global economy, why this is so important in the context of global logistics, you might ask. So basically, as you know, we have few major passages. We have few major passages in global supply chains. So like the Panama Canal or Suez Canal. And the exemplification of this chart, which provides you the information about how many
May I request all the participants to keep their mic in mute, please? Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Professor. You can continue. Thank you, Professor.
So basically, if we have a low water level, like in Panama Canal, there is a drought, the constant drought for a few years. This has a tremendous impact on transportation due to the fact that Panama Canal, when it was built, it was dedicated for specific type of vessels. And as you know from the physics and from the Archimedes law, Uh, if we have the lower water level, the smaller objects can pass through through this canal. Therefore, the original Panamax cannot pass through this. The post-Panamax cannot pass through this canal. So if they cannot pass, it has major consequences for the shipping lines, which need to adapt other ships and recirculate the loops to adapt the ships to this environment, uh, which has also impact for shippers or any other actors in the supply chain. Because if we cannot use the normal ship, which should go there based on the characteristic of the Panama Canal, and we cannot do it, and we need to use the smaller vessel, this means that we will we will load smaller cargo in the context of volume to this ship. If we will transport less cargo, the unit cost of our transport will significantly rise. And in the context of if this aspect is only temporary or it's only a one-time event, it's not a problem because this cost, this increase in transportation can be divided into some actors within the supply chain, or even if this is the first and this is only the one-time event, it can also be paid by the shipping line by cutting down the margin. However, if this situation is frequent and is constantly repeating, then no business owner will accept the fact that they will work on smaller margin or with none. Therefore, they will try to push their costs to other actors of the other links of the supply chain, and other links will do the same. Therefore, the final cost, the final increase of the price regarding these aspects will be paid by the customers. So that's why the environmental aspects, that's why the water levels and the temperatures globally are so important in the context of global economy and global logistics. So here you can see the global greenhouse gas emission captured by sector in the last three decades. So first of all, as you can see, is the energy, which is known as the electricity and heat production, which captured around 34% of the global GHG emissions. And this is obviously the burning of coal, the natural gas, and oil for electricity and heat, which is the largest single source of global emissions. Then you can see the second one is the industry, which is primarily involve fossil fuels burned on site at facilities for energy. This is for manufacturing aspects. So, as I will tell you later, the industry, the energy, and the transportation are very closely connected with each other. Then we have the AFOLO, which is the agriculture, forestry, and other land use, which capture like 22% of this aspect of this GG. Then we have the transportation, which is around 15%. Obviously, in transportation, it is mostly due to the fact that all, maybe not all, but majority of the transport is made by the vehicles that burning the fossil fuels. So for road, rail, and maritime transport, and almost all, to be honest, like 95% of the world transportation energy comes from the petroleum-based fuels, largely gasoline and diesel fuel. And the last one is the buildings, which captures like 6%. And this obviously arising from the on-site energy generation and burning fuels for heat in buildings or cooking in homes. Uh, so here you can see how this fossil fuels and industry arises in the context of the CO2 emission. And I'm not the first person that would say we need to get out from the fossil fuels. We need to find a way out from the burning fossil fuels, because in the current economy, I would say it's impossible. Almost at almost every product or every important for us product is at some point made of petroleum, made of oil at some level. For example, my phone, uh, here, the case of my phone is made of plastic, which is made of from oil, among with. The phone itself, it also has a lot of elements that has been created thanks to the oil. And if we look at anything, to be honest, we would be, it would be very difficult to find a product that has been designed and manufactured without any use of fossil fuel industry. And as we can imagine, also the transportation of those products is also providing or maybe generating some greenhouse gases emissions. Therefore, it's maybe not completely impossible. I would not like to say this drastic statements. However, I think it is at least very difficult to have a way out of from the fossil fuels usage in the context of global economy, in the context of global manufacturing, in the context of global logistics. It's just right now, it's almost impossible. Maybe in some years when the new technologies will be developed and implemented, maybe then it will be possible to actually find a way out from the fossil fuels. But currently, in my opinion, it's not so easy. Okay, so here you can see the greenhouse gas emission captured by country in 2020. Obviously, China is the main polluter of the world. However, China, as you probably know, is also the main country that implements the newest technologies, the newest green technologies within the economy. Therefore, they are also the highest producer of electricity and energy, which came from the net zero emission sources. So like the wind, solar panels, etc. The second is United States, third is India, fourth is UA, European Union, etc. And In the context of Europe, but not only Europe, but in the context of the, let's say, Western world, so the Europe, United States, currently less due to the political aspects in the United States. However, the previous president was very keen on the developing the net zero economy. Uh, but in the context of Europe, you may or may not know, Europe has the European Union has introduced this major paradigm shift in the context of economy, our economy, which is basically telling us to be a net zero emission. Therefore, uh, we should use the electric vehicles, use the energy from the renewable sources, etc. And what is, in my opinion, sometimes forgotten in this whole discussion is the fact that the world is a whole thing. Therefore, even though if one country or one region will be environmental friendly, it doesn't mean that we will be environmental friendly as a whole. And this is also due to the fact that the main polluters are also the main manufacturers. Therefore, okay, we can say in Europe that we are green. Our manufacturing aspects are very green. We are not using a lot of fossil fuels in the context of the manufacture things, and we are just great. Right, but we still need new products. We still want new products. And those new products need to be manufactured somewhere. And the most the commonly that they are manufactured in those countries which has a very high greenhouse gas emission. And obviously it's not a coincidence that this situation look like this, yeah. So basically we are trying to move our emissions to some other country or other region of the world. So basically this is like we would just live in a big flat divided into some rooms. However, we are still living in one flat, and some of us, let's say three of us, would live in three rooms, and one person would live in another room, and we would put our wastes and garbage to room of this one person. Therefore, if, for example, we would invite somebody over to our house, we could say, look at my room, how tidy it is, how clean it is. It's so beautiful. I'm so a tidy guy. You see, I'm very clean. But the guest tells, okay, but it's so smelly in here. I I just feel something is rotten here. Yes, but this is not my room. Look at the room of this person over there. Every garbage is there. It's a bad person. He has bad habits. He doesn't clean. It's not a tidy. Don't look at it. Go to my room. It's so clean. So guests will not perceive us as a clean person, but will perceive, okay, maybe your room is clean. However, the flat itself smells bad, and it's not good that you have tidy room, but the mold is still in the air, so it's not good for your health. So basically, this is the situation in which we are currently living, in my opinion. So we are trying to move our emissions, to move our obligations and responsibilities to other countries, other sectors of the world, which will do it because it will get paid. And the export, import, the trade, which is the heart of the global economy, which is the heart of the, I would say, even human development, is made due to this. So basically, if we look at the trade, if we look at the trade at the global level, everyone wants something new. As you know, the life cycle of products decreased drastically if we would compare it products from this year to the products manufactured in the 90s or 80s or even 60s or 70s. The product, the fridge from the 60s or 70s will outlive our lives. But the fridge from which you could bought like 5 years ago, if the warranty tells you the warranty is 6 years, you can be sure that after 6 years, some malfunctions can occur. This is because the fact that the manufacturer provides money and our economy, the linear economy, is mostly built on this constant increase of the value of the money earned, etc. Basically, how old is your phone? How old is your laptop? Yeah. And I'm not telling that you buy it because the new model came up and you said, okay, I want the new model. Probably, and which is very possible, after a few years, your laptop or phone just started be buggy and worked slowly. And this is obviously made with caution by the manufacturers to provide a new product for you. And I'm not telling you that we need to stop buying things. No, 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 no. I just ask and hope that after today's lecture, when you will buy things, you will think twice about what is going on with this product and how this product will live after I will use it. So what is the life cycle of this product? How does it look, the reverse logistics of this product? Is it there or it's not? So here you can see only the comparison to the 2015, so like decade, 10 years. And as you can see, and globally, more than 25% of products more has been manufactured in this decade. The population has not risen by 25%. Therefore, and the consumers has not risen by the 25%. So it's not like the more people that are using the products. It's just like we need to force people to buy our products. We are manufacturing things for people to use it. And as you can see, the highest contributor and the highest manufacturer in this whole context is China. It's China, which increased the manufacturing by almost 70% in the context of 10 years, in which in 10 years ago, the China was already perceived as the world manufacturer of things. Therefore, this aspect only increased in value. And as you can see, only in North America, there were a drop, but not significant. less than 1% drop in the manufacturing output. However, in all other regions of world, there were a rise or the significant increase of the manufactured production. And why this is also important in the context of logistics. So if if we have increased our production by 25%, and we know that around 80 to 90% of world cargo, therefore those manufactured aspects, are transported by the sea, then we know that this significant increase in the products means also the significant increase in maintaining the logistics processes, to manage the logistics process, to enabling to create more value, earning more money. But it also create new challenges regarding the reverse logistics, the logistics management and the supply chain efficiency and the optimization of these supply chains. So, as you know, the supply chains are the backbone of the global economy. The efficiency of the supply chains is directly correlated and impacts the price that we have to pay for any product. And within the supply chains, the very important place is taken by the reverse logistics, which obviously is one of the elements, the key elements of the circular economy. And this place taken by the reverse logistics means that there are not only some materials that can be taken into consideration in these aspects, but also the whole products, the reuse of these products, how to maintain the product, how to use some elements of this product to put to another product, therefore decreasing our unit cost of production, but increasing our profit. So the efficient way of this reusing the products will directly improve the profit margin for whole supply chain. And if we look at the global export leaders and import leaders, it has not changed a lot in many years. For many years, the first three positions were captured by China, USA, and regarding the export or import, they were switching the places. Third was Germany, fourth the Netherlands, fifth Japan. And as you can see, this global share, and what's more important, the global value provided here in billions of dollars. It also risen if we compare the year-to-year aspects. So in 2024, the first time the United Kingdom has achieved the fourth place in the context of the import. And obviously, this is an aftermath of the Brexit and the problems they were having within the exiting the European Union, and the aspects regarding the having efficient flow of materials, products, information, and money within the European Union. Currently, it's way more complicated to provide the transport to UK than it was when the UK was a part of the European Union. There were no duties and VAT, value-added tax, and many other documentations have been just were eased due to the fact they were in the common market. When they get out of this common market and decided to be outside the European Union, unfortunately, this also had an immense impact on the European transport system, and obviously the aspects regarding the money earned by companies and the price that has had to be paid by the customers. However, here these export-import leaders in 2024, what is also very important is the fact that, as you know, there are some political tensions. There were much more tensions between the USA and many other countries in the world. And obviously, the biggest competitor was China. And therefore, there were a lot of problems with tariffs, which hit very hard the American business. For example, the American forwarders who are in import business have a lot of problems, and they drastically the margin drastically dropped. Some of them had to face with the significant increase in costs of operating business, and this is obviously not good for the global economy at the point of those aspects which I'm talking about. Yeah. So, why why those aspects are so important? Why the trade is so important in the context of logistics, in the context of economy? So, as you can see here, the lines on this chart, the lines provides the average growth of GDP for the red line and the trade for the purple line. And as you can see, those lines are very close to each other. And the correlation between the trade and the GDP growth is undisputable. It's just, it is what it is. And probably, as you know, the let's say creator of the classical economy, Adam Smith, wrote a book, The Wealth of the Nations. It was written in the 18th century. And within this book, he stated that the main reason for countries' wealth is the trade, basically the import, basically the export of products, and for money earned from this to import stuff that our people cannot develop, or the development of those things would be very costly. So basically, the trade was always I would say, one of the most important aspects of human development, along with the transport. If we look at this from, let's say, philosophical point of view, without transportation, without trade, we would still live in caves. The trade and transportation provided us on the human development level the possibility to not only exchange goods, but also exchange thoughts, exchange ideas, exchange knowledge. And thanks to this knowledge, thanks to those, thanks to the information that has been captured through these actions, the people could develop, the people could learn new things and implement new technologies, or improve already known technologies. And in this context, the trade is one of the most important aspects of human development. And without trade, our lives would be much poorer. So, here, as you can see, the correlation between trade and GDP is very, very close. We could say it's positively correlated, strongly positively correlated. And obviously, this correlation provides us the wealth of our nations. Then you can see what is the correlation on what is the relation between the GDP growth rate and the seaborne trade growth. And we know that the GDP and trade are very strongly correlated due to the fact that if we trade, we always will provide GDP growth. In the seaborne, as you know, the 90% of the products are traded through sea. Therefore, if the seaborne is rising, the GDP is also rising. The pace of this increase is not always the same, as you can see, but the direction is almost always the same, with some differences due to the not global but local conflicts. Here we can see the rise of the containers, of container transport in the world. As you know, the container transport is one of the key enablers, was one of the key enablers for globalization. And as you know, the global containerized trade has almost quadrupled in the last 40 years. So from 40, let's say 45 million TEUs in 96, it has risen to more than 160 million TEUs in 2024. And the busiest part in India, as I recall correctly, is the Jawaharlal Nehru, which handled around 7 million TEUs in 2024. So basically like the 4% of the global containerized trade. Here you can see how those aspects look like in division on major trade routes. So the Trans-Pacific, Asia, Europe, and Transatlantic. And this is also key aspect regarding the circular economy and circular logistics, due to the fact that the seaborne trade is one of the important, we can say that, polluters regarding the global trade. Therefore, the possibility to regulate this market, and if we compare it to those numbers, then we know that the results of those regulation and results of those implementing new technologies, new green technologies to this market can provide much good things in the context of environmentally friendly aspects on the global level. As I told you earlier, I think third or fourth slide during this lecture, about the level of the rivers, water level in the rivers globally, and the fact that those water levels were constantly dropping. Here we can see why this was and this is still an important matter in the context of world trade. And world trade means global economy. And as you can see here, for the most important for trade in the context of Panama Canal, so there is an equator for which the products came and going out from equator. The Panama Canal is the main passage for shippers to provide this kind of transportation, like the banana, the coffee, etc. And this obviously has an immense impact on their economy. For United States, it's only the 12 tons in the context of the share of trade volume in 2021. But as you know, those troughs in Panama Canal that has decreased the number of vessels that used this passage were just a manifestation of the climate change aspects and the increased evaporation of water that gains from the higher temperatures. But the the Panama Canal is only one passage, with also the Suez Canal on the Red Sea, which basically connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean in Europe. And this passage is also very, very important in the context of global trade. In normal conditions, the Suez Canal accounts around 12 to 15% of the global trade globally. So it's very important passage in the context of global economy. And due to these Red Sea disruptions, there were a massive need for using the Africa roundbound road, which significantly increased not only the distance that need to be taken to travel, but also the cost. So the price for all of us. And this was not only due to the fact that the vessels need to take a longer road, so the time of the voyage had increased. There were also another important aspects due to the fact, as you know, as you can see here, this for container transport, and it was also expressed in the freight rates for container transport. The fact that there is a longer distance to cover and container shipping lines are operating in the context of regular shipping. Therefore, there are like the closed loops between some ports, and you can check the schedule and know when particular ship will be at particular port. If we will increase the distance that need to be traveled significantly, which means that the increase in speed of container vessels will not provide us will not give us this gap, will not fill this gap in time. The shipping line, due to the fact that they want to have some level of service quality, and if they cannot be like every 21 days in Port of Gdańsk, let's say, or any other port, then the service quality level drops. And this not be agreed to drop the service level. It will not be agreed by the shippers, by the shipping lines, by the freight forwarders, by the carriers, land carriers, etc., by the whole market. Therefore, to maintain at the certain service level, the the shipping lines needed to add to the loop the additional vessels. And that was the way of adaptation to those disruptions. And obviously, if we need to add another vessel to our loop, the unit cost of our transport will significantly increase by 7, 8, 12%, dependently on the number of ships and number of loops. However, it will increase significantly. If there will be increase of costs, those would be put on another actor in the supply chain, and at the end of the day, the price will be paid by the final customer. So here you can see what was the real impact of increased shipping rates due to the disruption of the Red Sea and the drought on Panama Canal on the consumer price level. And as you can see, okay, we can say that in the global context, there were only 0.6% of increase in price, which we could say, okay, it's not a big deal. So if you paid like 1,000 rupees for a product, after that you will pay 1,006 rupees for the product. It's not a big deal. Probably you will not even feel the difference. However, if we look at it from the transportation point of view, from the logistics point of view, the fact that you can buy this product for 1,000 rupees in Bangalore is due to the fact that there were a lot of actors involved within the supply chain to provide you this product. Therefore, there were a lot of actors, a lot of actions and activities that took place to give you this product, including the marketing, including the logistics as a whole, production, etc. Yeah, selling, whole operations, whole supply chain, everything that started from development and design of the product and ended with you having this product in your hand. And in this whole chain, the only one disruption two disruptions on two sea passages. So two disruptions on this very little aspect of this whole chain that provide you this product. This little disruption created and generated this increase in price by 0.6%. Therefore, we can state that the maritime transport is a real backbone of the global economy, as the impact and the influence of the maritime transport on our lives, on our daily basis consumer decisions is is tremendous. However, on the other hand, this impact was not as big in the context of gross domestic product, in GDP. And obviously, That was because of the fact that the GDP is generated by many other aspects, and in this whole chain, which I told you earlier, where the maritime transport is only a little element of it, this whole chain provides you this GDP and this 10 times lower impact of those two disruption on this small element has obviously lower impact. Okay, so what are, based on those aspects, the current and future challenges and opportunities for global transportation, for global economy, and the circular economy, how to implement the circular economy, and why we should do it in the context of logistics. So here I will just try to give you some glimpse of the European market also, due to the fact that Europe has very ambitious plan to be the zero emission region of the world by 2050, by 2015, 50. So there are a lot of actions in the European Union and a lot of directives and laws that are already implemented that are a key feature of the circular economy. So here you can see what is in Europe, what is the share of CO2 emissions regarding the modes of transport. And obviously cars, heavy-duty vehicles and light-duty vehicles, so the road transportation captures the most emissions. Yeah, obviously you see the drop from 2019 to 2020, basically due to COVID. Yeah, if we look at the model split of freight transport in European Union, you can see that even though the maritime transport is the most important, captures around 70%. The road transport is the second most important, and I would say it's the most important in the context of the interstate, interregional transport, so basically between countries. The highest workload for maritime transport is the highest workload is obviously for maritime transport due to the economy of scale. And if we look at those, maybe not model splits, but if we look at the global level, of emissions, we will see that the road transport is the main polluter, of the in the world. The rail, which sometimes or even very commonly is perceived as the very environmentally friendly mode of transport, is, as you can see, relatively low level comparing to other modes. So shipping and aviation, as you can see here, are very close to each other. And obviously, this is due to the fact that in this chart, all emissions are captured, not only emissions captured during the cargo transport, but also during the passenger transport. And as you know, the aviation is very high emitter and polluter in the context of passenger transport. Okay, so here you can also see another important aspect in the context of global economy and the future and current challenges regarding the renewable sources of energy. So here you can see on the left chart, you can see the price of commodities like the energy, crude oil, natural gas, fertilizers, grains, or food. And on the right side, you can see the price of the natural gas in three main areas: the US, the Japan, and Europe. And why natural gas is so important? Due to the fact it is highly used by the manufacturing facilities. So in Europe, as you see, we had a significant increase increase in the price of the natural gas. It was mostly due to the Russian invasion on Ukraine. So the war that is currently going on in Europe, and obviously Russia, which was and still was the biggest right now, is one of the key producers of the natural gas that came to Europe. And this is very important for Germany, which are the third exporter in Europe, exporter in world, and Germany's manufacture machines, the cars, etc. So there are a lot of products that need to be manufactured by Europe facilities, by Europe plants, and the price of the natural gas, which is important for maintaining the production cycle. The increase of this price has also impacted on the price of the final product. Another aspect why this is so important is the health aspects. On the left side, I put you a screenshot of the air quality where I am right now in Gdynia in Poland. And on the right side, I put the screenshot of Bangalore in India. There is a moderate air quality. Therefore, as we all know, the air quality has very important impact on our health. And if we are not going to be healthy, if we are sick, we cannot operate at some efficiency level, which we should. And this is also from the context of business, but also from the context of just living our life. So one of the answers for these questions, and which is also the future opportunity to implement, is the circular economy. So on the left, you can see the classical linear economy, which just ignores the negative environmental impact associated with excessive consumption and resource exploitation, and it leads to high level of pollution and waste generation. This model fails to account for a significant part of the production-consumption loop and is often perceived as the one-way line where the potential to return resources to the earth is not occurring. On the other hand, we have the circular economy model, which takes into consideration the environmental effects of the resource use and waste generation. It creates the alternative closed loops in which the resources circulate continuously within the production and consumption system. Thus, the goal of the circular economy is to optimize the use of natural resources and to minimize pollution in every possible stage. This model, the circular economy model, also promotes the replacement of the traditional linear model, which relies on fast, low-cost production and inefficient disposal. In contrast, the circular production uh, extends the lifespan of production of products through repair, reuse, maintenance, renewal, uh, and this obviously provides us the better coexistence and of competition among species in nature. And as I told you earlier, the European Union provided or proposed a major paradigm shift, which is the European Green Deal, which is currently very much protested by many social groups. However, the main core of this politics is to be zero emissions, to achieve climate neutrality. And this is also very important in the context of logistics, due to the fact that one of the key aspects of the Green Deal in the context of not only the transport, but all of it, is to achieve the 90% reduction in transport, emission in transport related to GHG emission, if we compare it to the 1990 level. This means that the zero emission mobility is promoted, including investment in electric vehicles, the rail transport, and clean fuels. This shift from road freight to rail and inland waterways also needs the substantial infrastructure investments. And like 10 or even 15 years ago, there were a massive movement in Europe, which was the trucks on rails, which basically stated on to piggyback transport and multimodal transport, where containers of the whole where whole vehicles would get to the ramp on the train and just travel by rail. These aspects are very important, and there are a lot of challenges for business owners in transport sector, due to the fact that currently we are not so ready to implement those aspects. We are not having the sufficient infrastructure for electric vehicle on the whole road net. And therefore, it's very difficult for companies to make a decision when to start invest in these vehicles and these green technologies. Among with, obviously, there are smart sensors, the Internet of Things, and many other aspects regarding the digitalization, which can obviously decrease our emissions due to better planning, due to optimization of processes. So basically, the EGD, this European Green Deal, is a paradigm shift that provides or try to promote being climate neutral in Europe as a whole region. It's very difficult to achieve this aspect, and one of the KPI that has been proposed in the context of verifying whether or whether not the EGD is achievable is the politic Fit for 55, which is a set of legislative procedures, proposals, and laws designed to help the European Union achieve its legally binding goal of reducing the net GHG emission by at least 55% by 2030, so less than 5 years, compared to the 1990s levels. So, moving on, how to be future-proof regarding those aspects. Here we can see the model of circular economy proposed by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. This model can be divided on the biological cycle, which here we can see on the left side of the screen, and the technical cycle. And the implementation of this model through those two cycles can provide the full implementation of circular economy. So the biological cycle encompasses the renewable material streams, therefore materials that are largely regenerated along with their consumption. On the other hand, we have the technical cycle, which concerns the management of the non-renewable material stocks, because obviously it would be very difficult or even impossible to provide only renewable materials in these cycles. And in these technical cycles, the materials are reintroduced or try to be reintroduced into circulation through recovery, repair, maintenance, while consumption is replaced by use. So, in this aspect, there is legislative work done by the European Union, which basically states that the new machines producers, for example, if I would like to buy the washing machine or the dryer machine or any other type of machine, the producer need to ensure that aspects, the elements within this machine can be replaced easily and can be repaired easily. Because there was an issue with those kind of aspects that it was common when something broke within the machine. It was very commonly a small element. However, to get to this element and to replace this element, the cost of doing this would be just economically unrational to do it. Therefore, that was a challenge to do it, and this is the expression of this aspect implemented already in European Union. And to properly to implement this circulating economy in the proper matter, it must be based on the three main fundamental principles. The first principle is the preservation of the first principle is the preservation of the natural capital, which can be achieved through control and balance of the renewable resource flow, as well as selecting the appropriate technologies that solely rely on renewable or highly efficient resources. The second principle is dedicated to the optimization of the resource use, which is possible only when we keep our products, materials, and components in circulating, in continuous circulation, while we maintain their utility, and we can repair it and reuse it. Therefore, it needs to be, it also connects with the design of the product, because the product, during the product development process, it should be taken into consideration that the product needs to be easy to repair. We should recover and retrieve some components for potential use in future products, and the product should be made with the caution to the potential use for future technological improvements. And the third principle is dedicated to the continuous improvement of the system efficiency, which can be accomplishment by identifying and eliminating the negative externalities, such as reducing losses arising from food production, from transport, from consumption, etc. And how to be, another point, how to be the future proof. So we can, for example, implement the environmental process maturity model within the company. This model provides us the possibility to capture the environmental aspect, the environmental impact, which is created by our processes. Therefore, the whole process maturity models, which are very common thing in the industry, the process maturity is basically the ability to constantly developing the high value, the high quality for our customer, and with some repeatability. However, in the classic process maturity models, the natural environment is not so important. The impact of our operational activities on natural environment is captured only at the highest level of process maturity, in which we mapped all of our processes, we managed all of our processes, we have measures for all of our processes. Therefore, only then we will think about the impact of our process on natural environment. And in this context, in this model, environment process maturity, we try to capture the impact of our processes on natural environment at every level of the model. Therefore, even when we have only identified our mega processes, so we are basically at the first level, the lower level, even though we try to capture the impact of our mega processes or main processes on environmental. So basically, in this environmental process maturity, there are five levels. So from the lowest, the process identification, when we only identified some processes, to the highest, which is the continuous improvement of our processes, where the role of employee and the role of organizational culture is very high in the context of value creation. And at each level, we try to capture the impact of our processes, of our action, of our operational business on environmental aspects. So I see that we have very little time, like 5 minutes, so I will move on and accelerate a little bit. With my team, we had made research regarding the being ready for the European Green Deal in the transport sector, European transport sector. We have identified the factors that are influencing this readiness, and we identified 6 main factors. Among those factors, 2 of them were perceived by the respondents, by the business owners, as a cause, and the rest was as an effect. And when we try to measure the impact of those factors on each other, we notice that, for example, the resource management has impact on all factors. Therefore, in the context of being ready for European Green Deal, therefore, for being ready for being successful and competitive in the circular economy in the context of logistics, the resource management can be perceived as the most important aspect and is a causal factor. Therefore, if we increase and if we improve our resource management, we will automatically improve other aspects. And the other is the other important conclusion based from this research was the fact that there is a correlation between investment in green technologies and policy alignment and compliance. Therefore, if we will improve only one of those elements, we will automatically improve the second. So what are the main conclusions which came with this lecture and with this, what I have told you for this 1.5 hours? So basically, based on those studies that I have performed with my team, we noticed that the strategic resource management and employee training are critical drivers for European Green Deal readiness in inland transport adaptation, directly influencing operational sustainability and green technology adoption. Therefore, we can also generalize those research on this context of the circular economy in logistics, due to the fact that the European Union implemented a lot of aspects regarding the circular economy and are forcing the business owners to also adapt these aspects and to be compliant with those aspects. The investment in green technologies and emission reductions are essential for compliance. The incorporation of environmental process maturity to align logistic decision with maturity sustainable targets, which is one of the first conclusions which came from this whole lecture. Then we know that to be the future-proof, so to build the future-proof logistic systems, they need to align with long-term business models. Therefore, we need to move from reactive compliance to proactive circular innovations, which can also be enabled through using the smart sensors and real-time tracking, which enable material traceability, resource recovery, which are the key enablers of the circular logistics. And obviously, in circular economy in logistics, which is, I would say, even though here is the last, but in my opinion is the most important conclusion, is the fact that on the global level, there need to be a collaboration with suppliers, recyclers, municipalities, which enable the closed loop networks, which can transcend the supply chain boundaries. Okay, time's up. Thank you a lot for your attention. I hope that this lecture was interesting and inspiring. Once again, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to deliver you this lecture, and I hope that maybe in some aspects, you will just see some new light on some aspects. Thank you a lot. Have a great day. Bye.
Sir, thank you so much. I guess he has left the session.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Where is the professor?
He
The
left the
professor leave.
session.
Oh.
He left. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Quite
So,
efficient with his time. He started exactly at 2 p.m. as well, exactly on point. So, yeah.
yeah, nice. Okay, now the Naveen Kumar is joined. Naveen Kumar, Dr. Naveen Kumar.
Hi, good
Oh.
evening, sir.
Hello, Dr. Naveen Kumar. Is it we are not able to see you?
I think there's some technical glitch. I'm just trying to switch on my cameras, but something is not happening.
Okay.
Trying to do
Dr.
this.
Naveen. Okay, Dr. Naveen Kumar. Yeah, Vidhi, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sure. So, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, actually. And I hope you're having a good weekend. So, let's just progress to the next session and not waste any time. Next session is with Dr. Naveen Kumar. He's highly accomplished professional with over a decade of rich experience in the automotive industry, specializing in material sourcing, supply development, and cost optimization. Dr. Kumar currently serves as an associate manager in sourcing and development at the Hero Motor Corp, where he plays a pivotal role in source selection, part development, and supply management. His strategic approach has contributed to building a cost competitive and agile supplier base, driving significant annual savings and operational efficiency. Prior to his tenure at Hero MotoCorp, Dr. Kumar worked with Maruti Suzuki India Limited from 2012 to 2017, where he focused on supplier upgradation and quality system improvement, a certified Sigma Black Belt from the Maruti Center for Excellence and ASQ. He has extensive hands-on experience in Lean Six Sigma, TQM, PDCA, and lean manufacturing implementation in medium and small-scale industries across India. Dr. Kumar's academic achievements are equally impressive. He earned his PhD in Sustainable Lean Manufacturing from the North Cap University, Gurugram, where his research focused on the implementation of sustainable lean manufacturing in Indian automobile industries. He also holds an MTech in manufacturing and automation and a BTech in mechanical engineering from Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak. His deep expertise in industrial engineering, sustainability, and process excellence continues to make a strong impact on both academia and industry. We are delighted to have Dr. Naveen Kumar with us today and look forward to his session on sustainable lean manufacturing. So I request you all to join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Naveen Kumar. So over to you, sir. And thank you so much for taking the session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Naveen Kumar, for accepting our invitation. Yeah, it's yours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madhe sir, for this opportunity, and Vidhi for a wonderful introduction. Now, I think let's start. I am, as already explained by Vidhi, I'm Naveen Kumar, working with Hero MotoCorp. I have around 14-year experience in sourcing and development and looking after lean manufacturing techniques and implementation also along with this. And I'm sorry for my camera is not working. I don't know what is the technical glitch. First of all, we'll start. We'll take some MCQs. I know there is a session you already discussing and aware of all these sessions. You know, there are some MCQs If anyone has any answer and clue, I request answer that. Or if not, then we can skip those questions. My screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
visible.
Yes, so we'll start with some questions. Then we'll move forward for the session. My first question regarding just which of the following best describes sustainable lean manufacturing? These are the options written below. You can read out and just speak the answers.
I think the option B, integrating lean
B.
principles with sustainability goals.
Answer
Oh, great.
B. Option B.
Great. Thank you. The primary objective of lean manufacturing is to
It's again B. Eliminate non-value added activities. Yes, B. Eliminate non-value added activities.
wonderful, great. Yes. Waiting for answer. Which of the following is not a type of waste, muda, in lean manufacturing?
It's no.
Yeah, very good.
I think
Try
A,
more.
overproduction.
No, it's muda.
It's
Not a type of muda, not a type.
Okay.
Energy
Type of waste.
efficiency.
Yeah, this is the correct answer. Energy efficiency. Now move towards sustainability in manufacturing includes which three main dimensions? I think last session I just joined. You all this covered this.
it's B.
Sustainable goals.
Economic,
B,
environmental,
economic,
B,
environmental,
Wonderful.
and
B.
social.
Great.
Economic, environmental, social.
Which tool is commonly used in lean to identify and eliminate waste?
Pistol analysis.
Pistol analysis.
Pistol analysis.
Value stream.
Yeah.
Value stream mapping.
Yes,
Value
it's
stream
value
mapping.
stream mapping.
A.
Yeah.
Value stream mapping.
A, value stream mapping, the correct answers. Great. Thank you so much for your answers. Really appreciating in this second half, I'm getting so much response. Which lean concepts promote sustainability by reducing source and energy use? I think you are aware about these terminologies: Kanban, 5S, SMEDs, Jiroka.
Yes.
It's B.
Wonderful. Correct answer.
B. Jidoka.
No, it's B, 5S.
5S.
5S is the key to implement the sustainability and the lean concept. And then next is the combination of lean and green manufacturing help us.
A. Cost reduction and
A,
environmental performance improvement.
Cost
Wonderful.
reduction and environmental
Wonderful.
performance.
Great. Which metric best evaluates sustainable lean performance?
Energy consumption per unit.
Great, sir. Nice. This is correct
A,
answer.
yes. Is it A, energy consumption per unit?
Yes,
Yes,
it was
yes.
A. Yes. Which of the following is best described as cellular economy?
B.
Wonderful.
PP.
B.
And the last one we'll discuss. After that, we'll move to session.
Make, dispose.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much
Yes.
for the session, and I'm with you. Now let's move to, I think you already covered much more topics. I'll take you through some techniques and terminologies using in manufacturing in industries. First, we will cover some theoretical. After that, we'll go through some case studies. My topic is sustainable lean manufacturing in automobile manufacturing. As you already, I think, read out, sustainable lean manufacturing is the manufacturing of goods for pollution and waste-free processes which improve environment and reserve energy with high economic impact. And the very important terminology, I focus on the 3P. The 3P: people, profit, and planet. And you see the blue one is the sustainability part, right? When we club out all these three, environment, planet, and social and economy, when we club out these all this circle, the maximum sustainability output we can gain. This is good for our future also, and this is good for our coming generation also, and this is good for our growth also, right? This is the aim of sustainable lean manufacturing, is zero waste and zero defect. Now, what is circular manufacturing? Circular economy, an economic model that eliminates waste and regenerates system. The working principle is again design out waste and pollution, keep product material in use, and regenerate ecosystems. These both techniques are equally important, relatable, because in sustainable lean manufacturing we talk about the economy and environment, and here also we are focusing on both things. Why circular manufacturing matters to us? That is reduce raw material dependency, enhance ESG and brand sustainability profile, and support compliance with environmental standards, and enable cost saving through reuse and recycling. The focus of recircular economy in manufacturing is focusing on reuse and recycling as on day, right? And if I talk about the ESG is the now a brand image for the automobile industries, which supplier having the ESG rating and they are performing ESG criteria, having a good brand image as compared to others, right? Now, the sustainable lean manufacturing executes what? Why is sustainable lean manufacturing required in automobiles? This taken up to the long-term gains through dynamic growth and development of manufacturing, and it's equally important to help in reduction of human efforts and reduce lead time and cost, and defect reduction. The today's demand is everyone, as we are the ultimate customer for any automobile industries, right? If I take an example of car, if I take example of two-wheeler, if I take example of any other things, we are the ultimate customer, right? What is our expectation? We need lower cost, best quality, and at very required lead time, right? We need all these three, which can meet us and give us the right quality and right quantity at right price, right? Now, this is a requirement why we implement sustainable lean manufacturing in automobile industries. Now, if we talk about sustainable manufacturing, among the processes, as I explained, and I really appreciate all of you. You just contributed a lot in MCQs, and mostly answers were correct. And again, the sustainable manufacturing process First, we take manufacturing cost. As I explained in previous slide, the manufacturing cost is the R demand, is the ultimate cost reduction, is the demand of the ultimate customer. That should be minimum. Now, the environmental impact, this should be also minimum. And the energy consumption, energy consumption leading to the all the environmental impacts, as on day, what we are doing in our industries, we are moving towards solar energies. We are implementing how to reduce energy consumption throughout the processes, right? That should be minimum. The waste management should be maximum. Waste management, don't confuse it. Means waste management, how to manage the waste. As we have to drill down the processes in deep to just manage where is the process and where is the waste generation, and we have to kill all the impacts and the processes where waste started. At that moment we have to control the waste. Then that the need of the waste management should be maximum. The next one is operational safety. As I already explained, the human is the important for our society. We have to take care about their efforts. We have to take care about all their safety, all their about fatigue. Now it should be maximum. We have to create the environment and the processes should be very safely and should be accident free. In industries, we focusing on even near miss management also, because if there is any near miss, that can be converted in the accident. So we monitor the near misses so that accident can't be happen, right? Near miss is the first stage of the accident. Accident may happen, but due to some, god or some another reasons, accident not happen, but it can be happen. That the near miss, then it should be maximum at the operation places. Now the next one is the personal health. It is again focusing in sustainable manufacturing processes. If you see in this complete chart, we control all these three aspects: manufacturing cost leading to economic, environment impact, and energy consumption, focusing on the environment aspects, waste management again focusing on economy and environment aspects, operational safety and personal health again focusing on the social aspects. Now, the sustainable lean manufacturing focusing on society development, employee growth, motivation for society. Motivation for society means employment generation, educational goal setting, and helping in developing the same. Now, it's very wonderful. Many of the organizations, many of the industries started the session for the children's of the employees. They started their coaching at the stage of 8th, at the stage of 10th standard, and focusing their ideas in our operations, as well as they are also motivating the employees to contribute and another business development activities and any other ideas to take it forward. Now, the environment aspects focusing on green environment, working environment, energy conservation, recycling, reuse, reprocess material. As I already touched upon during circular manufacturing, recycling, reuse, and reprocess material now is equally important to achieve the ESG goals. This is the main criteria industries are focusing and using in day-to-day activities. And one of the most important is the following the international standards. Now, third one is economic aspects. Economic aspect is the primary responsibility to meet any organization sustainable. That is the sales of the organization, profit to the organization, that should be increased, sales should be increased, and identification of the hidden losses so that profit can be increased. Efficiency must be improved. Resource planning and engagement at right time, at right operation, it is equally important. And system adoption and adherence means newer technology that can help us to make economic aspects better for an organization. Now, we started from 3R and to 6R. We are focusing now the remanufacturing, reduce, redesign, recycle, recover, and reuse. Reconfigurable manufacturing process focuses on modularity, scalability, integrability, and convertibility and diagnosability. It is very important, as already explained, reuse what we should reuse. Used material and used tool can be reused in automobile manufacturing. What we can recover used material, used tool. What we can recycle, we can use recycle material, we can use recycle waste, we can recycle wasted energy, we can use tool. What we can redesign the product, we can redesign the tool to improve the sustainable manufacturing. And what we can reduce is material, tool, waste, and natural resources and energy. And the important aspect we start is remanufacturing, is manufacturing material and tool. Now, these are the sustainable aspects in manufacturing already covered. Now, in the supply chain management, we touch upon the energy and environment system, customer and supplier linkage. It is very important. Now, for any OEM, it is very important to guide their tier 1 supplier. And for tier 1 supplier, it is very important to give the information and coaching to the tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers, which are not so much capable supplier base, so that they can implement ESG or sustainable lean manufacturing on its own. Now, this is the government guideline as on day. As a OEM and as a big tier 1, it's prime responsibility to develop customer and supplier also for making ESG on board and reduce CO2 reduction and water consumption to meet the environmental goals. Along with social responsibility, opportunity of the workshop for employee development and bottleneck identifications. And the last one is the first time okay. First time okay, it's creating the benchmarking for the industry, because if we create first time okay, then we are reducing the waste to the process. If we get defective part, then it start waste on each processes, right? Now we have to focus on first time okay. And this is the process excellence. What means by process excellence? Anyone can define the process excellence. What do you mean about the process excellence? Anyone? Anyone in the session can define process excellence. What do you mean by process excellence? Hey, I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes.
Can you define, can you guess, or you can support me to just make it in interactive session? What do you mean about process excellence?
So by doing effectively and efficiently doing the things without wastage.
Okay, that's great. Any other? Any other?
Zero waste, zero scrap, zero accident.
Wow, that's the good. Zero waste, zero accident, right? And maximum output is the process excellence. Now we are also focusing on the minimum, environment impact. Due to that process, we are adding nowadays in manufacturing to define the process excellence, and we are creating the line or the model or a process so that we can benchmark that particular line, that particular shop, so that other person can take inputs, can take advantages from that shop and workshop and start implementing in their respective areas. Thank you very much for your inputs. Now, why SLM, sustainable lean manufacturing in automobile industries? Now we are the customer. What is our demand? More. We need more. Why we need everything in our products. It should be, if we talk about cars, we need ADAS, we need everything. We need cruise control, we need automatic drive, right? This is our demand. Now, our demand is also reduce cost. This is customer demand. Customer demands increased. Now, what are challenges for the OEMs, for the manufacturers? How to deal with such situations? If we talk about the government regulation, nowadays we are discussing about the ABS implementation in two-wheeler. This is the mandatory. We are getting the information from the government of India, right? It's government, it's creating another cost to the vehicle. ABS is safety critical item, and that has to be implemented in two-wheeler. This is our demand, this is government demands, right? And this all focusing on the cost and processes. When we start and implement any new technology, any new thing, it's thoroughly reviewed for all these three aspects. If we talk about and start from 6R, as I explained in previous slides, we should think about their environment impact. We should think about their economic impact. We should think about their performance metrics. We think about their variation quality, what the impact. We think about their productivity variations. We think about the how people will deal with it, right? How they will adopt this technology. As we were discussing the ABS implementation, I think you all aware about the ABS systems for the two-wheelers. This is anti-locking braking system which has to be implemented in coming year for more than 70cc vehicle two-wheeler, right? Now this is the one of the example. The industries struggling for the supplier based development as well as the product capacity and efficiency improvement. And if the so much the quantity of around we are manufacturing around more than 100 lakhs per annum two-wheelers in India, then complete ecosystem for ABS has to develop, right? For all these things, we focus on sustainable manufacturing parameters and ESG to get this done and implemented. Likewise, there are other aspects also we are focusing, And these are the impact pillars: variation in quality, productivity, variation, equipment efficiency, performance metrics we have to focus upon. Now the environment impact manufacturing. The manufacturing process, I think you already covered in a previous session, all these things: working material and input energy, electric, fossil fuels, then output product, byproducts, and output is greenhouse gases, various pollutants and toxin solid waste. It's focusing again input to global warming, and that is the not good for human as our ecosystem. Now, what is the today and what is the future? You see the red one. The consumption is increasing as on today rate, right? If we talk about the sustainable rate, where the economic and all these three aspects must be straight lines, there is a gap. But as the demand increasing, the impact is increasing. You know, we are touching highest ever sale, all other two-wheelers and four-wheelers. From last 10 years, highest ever sale going to be happen this year and this festive season, right? The consumption rate is daily increasing. Our sustainability rate is quite down. We have to just focus upon to minimize this gap. And how we'll achieve it? It is the challenge. It is the day-to-day work upon. We'll discuss in upcoming slides. The assessment of sustainable manufacturing, we started from the traditional manufacturing. Lean manufacturing we work upon green manufacturing, we worked upon sustainable manufacturing. Now we all these working together and moving towards ESG goal 2050 and somewhere focusing on the right. Now the sustainable manufacturing processes, what we should do to achieve that gap and to achieve that slope. What is our requirement? We must use optimal usage of energy, material, labor, and other resources, which leads to minimum waste and minimum emissions. This is the prime responsibility of for a product development manager who is leading that project, right? Now we have to produce the sustainable product that can be help our generation give the minimum impact on society. And these inputs come from the product design and the process design. The design for sustainability principles, focusing their all functionality and recyclability and remanufacturability start from the design stage, right? And the processes start energy efficient technology adoption and safety free, safety environment, accident free, focusing on the employee friendly environment processes we have to develop. Then we can produce the sustainable product. This is the sustainable manufacturing processes we are planning and adapting nowadays in manufacturing. Now, might be there are some doubts about sustainable lean manufacturing and sustainable manufacturing. Sustainable manufacturing is social, economic, and environment, and lean focusing on continuous improvement techniques, and qualitative products. That is focusing on people, planet, and profits. Give is called, and this is the prime output for sustainable manufacturing. Now the sustainable manufacturing to promote the circular economy is only feasible through a total and multi-life cycle based approach to close loop material flow by adopting the 6R as we discussed. Now we have to, what is important in this slide is the one message we have to focus to reduce in every life cycle stage. We have to focus reduction, right? We have to reduce the process time, we have to reduce the wastage, we have to reduce the distribution lead time and the resources consumption in every stage. It is very important nowadays. We have to focus. These are the some critical parameters we have identified and validated at our organization, at our supplier base. These are the some critical success factor: top management involvement, brand value, multi-scaling, machine condition. I will not take much time for economic, social, and environment definition, as you already expert and have multiple session on this. I will take you through some critical success factor only. This is the work standardization, self-respondent, public awareness, employee training, current legal regulations, review mechanism, working culture, cost competitive strategies, employee motivation, and uses of upgraded technology and future legal regulations. Uses of upgraded technology is the key which help us and leading to implement sustainable lean manufacturing in Indian automobile industries. This is the parameter and checkpoint which we are using whenever we plan a product design and as well as process design. For now, my group say, if we will not start measuring, we can't improve. If we will measure, then we can review, we can evaluate, we can improve. For start of the PDCA cycle, so start of reduction waste, for start of anything, the basic is measurement. We have to measure, we have to identify our baseline so that we can define our targets. First one, for economic performance measures we identified. These are the 10 economic performance matrices. We started evaluation at our end as well as our supplier base and found there is a huge improvement in our economic performances. If I take about I'll take number of accidents, increment overall efficiency, energy consumption unit, reduction in manufacturing cost per part, reduction in PPM part rejection, profit growth, and overall cost reduction on BOP, and product improvement, as I explained in a previous slide also. Cost reduction on BOP. Why I mentioned in this economic measures? Because we have to focus on the brought out parts. Brought out parts means we have to engage our supplier, means we have to engage our supply chain. From the start, raw material generation for any part, we have to review all the processes and start value addition and value engineering activity over those parts. Likewise, we start environment performance measures as well, like usage of hazardous material, component, and product using in the organization, and how we can reduce these products uses. Now, the second is reduction in waste, air emission, and water. Means air means with CO2 reduction. Now focusing on recycling, reuse of product, raw material, and consumable, etc. and focusing on environment, quality, product, and working area. Then focus upon work environment risk, audit non-conformities and their closure, and then fresh air index. Now, the last but very important for any organization, social performance measures for human resource development. We started the attrition rate of employee, why people are leaving the organization, what are the reasons, market share, what's market share going to increase and impacting our shareholders, what is the contribution of management to fatigue reduction, medical health checkup, CRS activities, organizing workshops, seminars for society, employment generation. And hi, anyone want to say something? Hello?
I think, sir, someone unmuted their mic accidentally. You can continue.
Oh, okay. Now, the employee satisfaction survey. I'll take few minutes our employee satisfaction survey. We started this activity and we find there is number of gaps between what is the demand, what is the expectation of the employee, and between what is the processes going on. And you would not believe there are number of ideas and kaizens happen due to this survey, and this is also help us in focusing on the environment as well as economic for an organization. So this is also a critical performance measures for sustainable lean manufacturing implementation. Then reward and recognition to employee. Reward and recognition is very important for any organization, because rewards means you are giving reward to the person who did good work, and you are just giving reward, and he is motivating himself to give more inputs towards the organization. Then skill enhancement and development initiative, as I already said. Organization started skill development of employee as well as the employee's family, children's, and they started their other contribution towards the education, how can give them better education. Now, these are the sustainable lean manufacturing verticals we are focusing on. These are the certification mandatory we are focusing upon and evaluating to do the best practices. Now, what are the old approaches and new approach in energy? We think about the old way. There is the high level of review, total annual energy usage and supply cost. But now, in new way, now this era, what we are doing? We are doing start of the raw material acquisition to the final disposal. We are reviewing the energy consumption and improvement and the actions at every stage. This is the new era. This is the sustainability lean manufacturing era we are implementing to just get a detailed analysis of every processes. Now the manufacturing or year on year and month over production comparison of resource utilization. Hello? I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yeah. I think there's some disturbance, something happened. Now, the new way is real-time examination of resources utilization, location, and rationale. It's live streaming of what is my production going happen, what is my output rate, what is my quality rate, what is my performance rate. Everything is now online at line, and we can get the data and store our data. Who is the person doing the activity, who is the person giving this output, and we can compare the resources and we can allocate the best resources for the best operation to get maximum input. For the process excellence, we have focused on these ways. Now, the important is waste analysis. We start in old ways, problem, solution, then get success. New ways, we are focusing then root cause analysis processes. Day by day, we start from failures. We start from customer feedback. Then we prove the process, we identify the process. We start multiple agencies involvement, CFT, cross-functional team involvement in analysis of that particular process and stop creating waste in the first place. As I already explained and focused on the first time right, we have to reduce the waste at the first operation only. If there is a generation, we have to reduce it. We have to make zero waste, zero defect at that process. Likewise, we are focusing on the innovative elements of sustainable manufacturing, the product innovation, process innovation, and sustainable innovation. We distributed all these innovations in respective departments, respective stakeholders, make them responsible and take it forward for the organization improvement and the goals. This help us to implement and best way to get maximum output. How to plan sustainability in manufacturing? Now, we already covered these topics in previous slide. I'll take few time here. Using renewable materials that don't deplete the natural resources, using fewer material and inputs that non-hazardous and non-recyclable, then focusing on modifying production processes to use less energy, water, and material to produce less wastage, and using less packaging, lowering product weight, using more efficient transportation systems, and working with the stakeholders like customers, retailers to reduce environment impact on sales and distribution as well. Expanding the life of the product, making it easier to repair and designing it to use fewer resources during the analysis, and the designing your product to be reusable, remanufacturable, recyclable, and biodegradable. These are the business benefits organization getting: the cost saving through resource efficiency, strengthen brand and ESG reputation, new service-based revenue system, and enhance customer retention and recycle value. These are the roadmaps. For the short term, we have plan awareness and product redesign. For midterm, 1 to 3 years, we start pilot service models, start prototypes, we start benchmarking lines, we start workshops for implementing, and recover loops. For long term, we have to integrate customer expectation across value chain and measures KPIs. This is the implementation of roadmap of sustainable lean manufacturing in Indian automobile industries. These are some of my publications for manufacturing in Indian automobile industries. And this, thank you. Now let's take you to the some my problem statements and some case studies. If I talk about, there were the problem statement in and at supplier end, the productivity was less against the targets, and the space available at the organization also less. So what we have target to reduce the manpower, we have to target parts per man per shift increase and space saving as well. Now we focused on the problem solving steps, PDCA, and we started sustainable lean manufacturing. We went to Gamba, we list down all the inputs, processes, times, and start verification and implementing the actions and horizontal deployment and standardization. We use these problem solving steps. Now, during time study, what we have found, these are you, if you are able to see, there are the 17 operation. This is the fuel filter assembly line, where operation 7 is the maximum cycle time against the takt time of 36, and the cycle time was 47. What we have identified, we did many videographies, and we get the observation from the videography and reduce the unwanted motion, input, outflow of material, additional processing, lack of use of newer, more efficient technology, proper utilization of floor space, poor 5S. This was very important for this activity. Lack of standardization, top management review, and more inventory online. These are the some observation we found during videography analysis, and we identify the actions for each observation and start actions. What we have found, we started to reduce the cycle time by reducing non-value added activity to convert them value added activity and start elimination and merger of two workstation to reduce the space as well. Before improvement, if you see, there is the layout was on left side, and after improvement the red highlighted cells were eliminated. These are the comparison before and after. The cycle time is now reduced and right side, and we from 16 workstation to we reach up to 13 workstations, and the maximum cycle time up to is 35 seconds against the 36 takt time. These were our target versus actuals. Head counts also reduced. Before their head counts were 17, now reduced to 14. The production also increased. Now cycle time also reduced, and the space also saved during this analysis and activity. Now we did a manufacturing implementation through a case study of total employee involvement. I'll pass this. As I explained during the matrix of sustainable line manufacturing, we did analysis and data collection on absenteeism, attrition rate, suggestion, kaizens, and 5S training and award and acknowledgement. There was scoring is very poor. There is no one measuring these data. Raw. What we have started, I explained to you, we start employee satisfaction survey where there is the given resources, self-development, motivation, key result area, working environment. These are the attributes we have considered, and we start survey. And we get there is lack in resource availability but gap in resource engagement. Means resources are available but employees are not able to use them and unable to deliver what is the expectation of the organization. Now we just identify what is the absenteeism and attrition rates. For this, what we have started and and sweet distribution on festivals, and start the celebration of birthday and silver spoon policy for the employees. Some of suppliers identified there are due to some water quality, their employees getting sick. Then what they started water facility to take water, drinking water at home and use that pure water at their home as well, so that the absenteeism can be reduced by their sickness. And they organization started leave encashment to encourage employee to take maximum attendance at organization. And some of organization also started the exit interview by the top management, so that management can understand why is the reason of leaving any employee and organization. Now, the another one is we started suggestions and kaizens. Issues were there. We identify there were the formats in English. Labor doesn't know English in some of places. If we talk about in our area, in North area, the employees was working online, not equally understand the English environment, but they have number of suggestions for improvement, for process efficiencies. They started giving their suggestions by in their local language, as well as to report their immediate supervisor, to register in a log and reviewed by the management and take relatively actions to get this done and give their update to the employee who given the inputs for that particular suggestion or guidance. What the effect is, what we got is low cost, difficult to implement ideas 67, 331 low cost, easy to implement ideas. There are few ideas where management has to put investment and CFT involvement is there. Now it is very easy for the organization to deal with 90% of problems by total employment involvement. As in our start of the question, 5S is the important for implementing lean, and lean is in relation with sustainable in manufacturing. We started quality circle as well as we involved the employees in PDCA approach. We start CFT, cross-functional teams, to get the session, get the training, and around 200 employees get involved to start these sessions and to take benchmarking of the assembly lines and quality improvement in other machining process, as well as some safety related measures. As we see, the performance matrix changed after implementing this data, and scrap rate also reduced by this. This is equally important for any organizations. Now, this is the another case study of the manufacturing some transmission components. The approach was to collect the data of natural resources, pollutants, and affecting environment directly or indirectly, and input output diagram of critical processes, identify the improvement gaps and projects, and take measures to reduce the consumption at the first step. If not possible, explore the possibility of reusing and recycling it. For new technologies to reduce the consumption, measures the trend and action, standardize and deploy horizontally at all applicable areas. We use this approach to get this implemented. We started with policy in place to get implemented throughout the organization. We just define the organization chart and implement coordinators, pillar code leaders, and members equally in different pillars like energy management, water management, waste management, prevention of pollution, substitution of hazardous chemicals, and environment compliances and management. We put every pillar leading a department head or a person who has the best knowledge of that particular process. He is the owner to lead this pillar and helped by the CFT members, which helping to get the all pillars in place and review to the top management. Then the master list of the organization process we mapped and key sustainable aspects. We get input, electrical energy, fuel, gas and water, energy utility management, transformation, DG air compressor, water treatment plant, air handling units, and cooling towers we mapped. Then we found there is output of electricity, compressed air, RO water, and cool water. And using in this process flow, raw material, alloy melting, casting, fettling and buffing, machining, painting and assembly, and energy utilization and the final product. And the output to this is to the environment smoke, emission, dust, heat, water vapor, paint sludge, ATP sludge, waste oil, used spares, and used consumables. Environment and economic, these are focusing outputs we have to focus upon. So as I explained during my theoretical session, we implement all processes. We started detailing of every process. We start from alloy melting. What is the energy uses? What is the compression air uses? What is the fuel? What is the water? What is the raw material? What is the spares we used? And alloy melting process. What are the process controls? What are the applicable emission controls? What are the automations controls? And what are the safety PPs using in these processes? What is the input and output diagram? What is the energy saving devices? What is the fuel saving devices? And what is the material movement control? And most important for the environment aspect, the emission to the air. What is the capacity versus actual melt? What is the fuel efficiency liter per ton? What is the product quality report? What is the emission compliance records? And what are the losses? Very important to track what is the energy losses, what is the fuel efficiency losses, what is the thermal losses, what is the burning losses and breakdown losses. We found all these things here in alloy melting processes. Now we move ahead. Likewise for all processes and mandatory records evaluated and for review meetings. Same likewise we focused on HPDC processes, and along with this we focused on electric energy mapping throughout the organization, where and how the energy going to consume, and identify which are the maximum energy uses areas is the SPDC casting, GDC casting, and the paint shop, which is contributing major electric energy losses as well as consumption places. Same as we map for water mapping, water uses and other recycle water and water treatment, we focused all among and take action for recycling the water maximum as we can. Now, as we see, the energy consumption trend is reduced drastically and water consumption also reduced drastically. The specific hazardous chemical consumption and specific industrial generation also reduced in this study. This was the very helpful and important for the organization at supplier. Now, likewise, there is another important setup change time reduction case study also done at one of our suppliers to implement the reduce the wastage in changeover time. During the CFT evaluation, there the process flow. By the way, I just missed, this is the CNG cylinder process flow. What I did in Maruti Suzuki India Limited supplier. There is raw material receiving, pipe cutting, inspection, bottom spinning, bottom milling, then stamping, then next spinning, and these are the processes which used. The green one are the changeover processes where changeover happen and the maximum changeover time was 1254 minutes. Now the average time 1254 minutes and the target was 850 minutes to meet the customer line, customer productivity. These are the action plan PDCA approach we used. Then we have identified there is no sequence defined for setup change activity. All activity find online, internal, no tooling identifications. In place of tooling and bolt was also not defined. And complexity and changeover activity is there. Activities eliminate for same diameter is also not defined. Then the no sequence defined setup change activity focused and closed by doing the identification on the bolt, jaws and every tooling which is including in that changeover. And the all activities found internal, and we reduce the cycle time by putting all activities in external and parallel activities. You see, there are 29 internal activities going happen. There is no external activity and no parallel activity in your mind. Now, what is external activity and what is the internal activity and what is the parallel activities? External activities means start of the changeover. The activity can be done, means are called as external activity. Internal activities was the activities which start from the last OK part to first OK part. Means when we stop production and start changeover activities and put another first OK part is my activity. Whatever is happened during this stage are called internal activities. Parallel activities are which activity in internal we can start along with another activity by implementing some other resources and automations. Now we have just identified 4 activities can be done external, 6 activity can be done internal, parallel, and 19 activity can be done internal. Now by this we achieved the changeover time from 1254 minutes to 1050 minutes. This is the what we have done in standardization. We just standardization the bolt sizing so that in every machine part can be we just implementing the identifications implementing the cooling chucks nets, implementing the hydraulic jaw pads, implementing the hydraulic defined special cooling.
Dr. Naveen, sir, Dr. Naveen, I guess some
Sir,
kind
sir.
of the problem in the network, maybe like say your voice is breaking.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Now it's fine. Now it's
Shall
good.
I go back?
Yeah, it
Now
is
it's
fine. It's fine.
okay?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, it is fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Now, what we have found is there is before and after we see comparison. Activity wise, trolley and push setting per length is reduced from 30 to 10 minutes. Side setting, bolt locking after setting is 40 to 20 minutes. And these are the activity you see left and right comparison. There is a huge difference in their changing cycle time. There is a same diameter cylinder. This is the activity we have identified and reduced the cycle time and implemented all the kaizens over here. And as I explained in previous slides, we implemented the preparation of internal activities into the external stage before starting the changeover. And we took only dismantle and setup change activity in after stage. This lead to the change in time reduction from 1200 to we got 850 minutes. And sometimes we get reduced for complete standardization through the processes we achieved 730 cycle time. And by these activities, we increased 53 cylinders setup per setups, which is the productivity as well. Now we move to the next theme of the value stream mapping. The objective of value stream mappings are to identify and eliminate waste, to improve layout, to fasten the process, effective utilization of resources, reduce operator fatigue. This VSM is I mapped personally along with my team at the shop floor for the same CNG cylinder at supplier end using the PDC approach. If you see the mapping here, I map the material movement. From pipe cutting, it's moved to the bottom milling, then stamping, then it goes to next spinning. Then a long way to go and had an inventory of 2000 cylinders for the heat treatment furnace. Because the heat treatment furnace is the running time is quite high and it's the efficiency and consumption rate is quite high of the electricity as well as the production rate is also high. So we have to build so much inventory and thus movement to the STC and cleaning. This was the material movement before. Now we have layout modification and we implement conveyor direction changed. We just reduce this conveyor from this way and the machine layout for manual rotation is also changed. For hardness tester, we also started the machine's cylinder orientation and operation fatigue by automation and circular implementation of hydraulic jaw. Then the layout modification to reduce the operator fatigue. Then again layout modification we did our line and we identified the list of kaizens. First, the layout modification conveyor direction changed. Machine layout changed at hardness testing. Lifter wheel assembly installed at hardness testing machine. Bed layout change and kicker installed at neck cutting. cylinder feeding conveyor installed for neck cutting operation, loading and unloading bed layout modified at machining HMC. These are the some examples. This is the Kaizen's lifter wheel machine. Earlier, it was done by manually by 2 operators. After implemented the lifter wheel assembly, it is movement by hydraulic lifter, and there is no role of any other manpower here. Then at hardness testing, this is the, if you see left side, there are 16-meter neck cutting and hardness testing distance. That is reduced to 4.75 meter. If we see, there is a manual feeding of the cylinder at neck cutting. Now the right side, a bed layout changed and kicker installed. Now there is no manpower is required. One automation system is placed the cylinder inside and sequence for upcoming operations. And the another SPM is installed for neck cutting machines, and unload bed also modified here. These are again the both unloading bed again done by a single operator. And this is the plant layout after we achieved the actions we implemented. We achieved the space 32.7 meter at the hardness tester and 598 meter square at next spinning.
രാഹുലിനെ കാണാൻ താല്പര്യമില്ല എന്ന് കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങൾ വീഡിയോ പുറത്തിറക്കിയെങ്കിലും മാതാപിതാക്കളെ സന്ദർശിച്ച വീഡിയോ രാഹുൽ പുറത്തുവിട്ടു. കുടുംബത്തെ ഭീഷണിപ്പെടുത്തി യോഗി സർക്കാർ കളിച്ച നാടകം പൊളിഞ്ഞുവെന്ന് രാഹുൽ പ്രതികരിച്ചു. ഹരിയോ പാർട്ടിക്ക് എന്ന ദളിത് സർക്കാർ ചെയ്യുന്നതും
Hello.
വ്യക്തമാക്കിയതിന് പിന്നാലെയായിരുന്നു നാടകീയത. രാഹുൽ ഗാന്ധിയെ കാണേണ്ടതിന്.
Hello.
Please, Vidhi, please remove them. I'll make them. No. Some issues. Wait. We will sort out that issue. Vidhi?
ശബരിമല സ്വർണ്ണക്കൊടി അർസായ
Yeah, here now these are the benefits. We can start.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Here these are the benefits. We started. We just saved 598 meter square area, and we reduced for 8 manpower per day here, and approximately 17 lakhs saving over there for area as well as manpower. And thank you so much. These are some outlines and some case studies for your references. I presented. Any doubt? It's open to you. You can ask any questions and any doubts. Over to Vidishan and over to everyone for any questions and suggestions.
Anybody has any questions to ask, please, guys, you can unmute your mic and ask the questions. Does anybody has any questions? Okay, sir, I don't think anybody has any questions right now.
Thank you so much.
But
Thank
they
you so
might
much.
have in the future, so I think you would be available through email.
Yeah,
or
I'm
LinkedIn,
available.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You can connect over email. Anyone can connect email.
Yes.
I'll
Thank you
respond.
so much, sir. Yeah, thank you so much for a really great session and great insights. And it was a really refreshing session by you. And the start of the session was also very nice with the MCQ. So thank you so much for such a great session, sir. And taking
Thank-
out the time from your busy schedule to come here and share
Thank you.
this information.
Thank you,
Yes.
Vidhi, and thank you, Madhi,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Dr. Naveen, for your valuable session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving opportunity with you
Yeah.
and this platform to share some insights, what's happening at automobile industries. Thank you so
Very
much,
good,
sir.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know you how much you are busy, but still you spare the time with with us. It's a very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's close it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, I think so. We could start with the next session. Um, uh, so, Mr. Ajit Kumar, are you there?
Vidhi,
Yes,
Mr.
Vidhi.
Lakshmi will join in a few minutes. Ajit is there. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay, sir.
Ajit will Lakshmi will join in 10 minutes, and followed by that Lakshmi's session, Ajit will continue for another half an hour.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Sure, sure.
So Lakshmi is
Sure, sir.
joining in another 5 minutes.
Okay,
Alright.
sir. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
So
Sure.
in the meantime, we can announce that we will the quiz will be conducted by 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Once the session is over, we will conduct the quiz session. The quiz can be attended in the ATAL portal itself. It is updated there. Just in case, if you're not able to access ATAL portal, quiz in the ATAL portal, Vidhi will also be sharing the Google
Google
quiz
Form.
link,
Yeah.
Google form link, where you can attend the quiz there. Okay, we prefer you to attend in the ATAL portal itself so that you will not face any problems as far as taking the certificate are concerned. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
one more thing. This is the mandatory. Dear participant, this is a mandatory. You have to attend it. Then only you can able to generate your certificate.
and you must score 70 marks. The quiz is pretty easy only, so you don't have to really bother. The minimum cutoff for anybody to get certificate is 70 marks. Okay, so please attend the quiz by 6:30 when it will be open, and then you will be able to clear that. I think it's pretty easy. Yeah. So any other announcement, Professor Madhi, you wanted to make? Also, Vidhi?
Now, now already covered it, sir. It's fine. Now we need your cooperation for the feedback session also. We need the feedback session also.
In the meantime, the next resource person joins. We would want some of the participants to give feedback about the sessions. Maybe talk for a couple of minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
It is
that will be
mandatory that we
better.
put about.
That will be better. If you don't mind, kindly switch on your video and then you can share your feedback. That will be good for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Professor Tanu, you would want to speak?
Yeah, good evening, sir. Sorry, I'll not be able to on video right now, but I just want to ask one thing first. That will be getting the recordings and the PPTs of the sessions.
Yes. We will be sending the recordings, and whichever resource person has agreed to give the PPTs, we will circulate that also. Okay. So that will be separate. We'll send it separately. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
regarding the feedback, I would like to say it was really nice sessions, very knowledgeable, very learning sessions. So thank you so much to each of the resource person for giving us such a information, the practical information, specs, the case studies, and everything was covered very effectively. And thanks to the organizing team and managing so well, everything for every support, you're always there. So thank you so much to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tanu. Professor Manita, you would want to add some feedback. Can you please switch on your video and then talk?
Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Manita. I hope camera is also working. Sorry for the background noise. If I am audible to everyone.
Yeah, you are audible, Professor Manita. Please go ahead.
A very good session, a very nice session, very professionally managed. I'm very happy to attend the session, although I missed little bit information here and there. But again, the same thing I would like to also request if we can have the PPTs and the recordings of the session so that later on we can check and use the all the information that we have learned through this very valuable feedback. That's the only suggestion. It's a request.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, we will circulate it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lena, look. Lena Nandini, ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir. Nandini ma'am is there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
yes.
Yeah, please,
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Nandini.
Yeah, why I was thinking, I'm just thinking over all your workshops. This is a new topic. I'm basically from Sastra University, SRC campus, Kumbakonam. And it is, now I'm having idea of writing some article in circular economy under that perspective only, and especially with ESG. Under that perspective that professor has given, Madhyarakan has given various dimension about doing the ideas, and some of the technical session yet I have to develop myself. So in that under that perspective, it was very useful, and especially today and regarding the automobile sector, and it was totally very useful how the manufacturing, how the waste the lean concept is very new for me, and today I understood about that how the wastage can be reduced, and logistic management, like that it was very useful, and it is my new experience also under this topic, because basically I'm a finance person. My area of specialization is finance. So I'm also thinking over, you are thinking over about waste and how to minimize, and economy means circulation of money. But even then, if you concentrate on one area of reducing the waste, the other area will be affected. That also we have to take into consideration. So all these things are in my thought process, where it is being enhanced by this workshop. Really, it is very useful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, everyone, and especially Vidhi ma'am for your cooperation. And also, when I was not able to, that I have to tell you honestly, one day I was not able to enter into this workshop, the faculty development program, but they were helping me and to do this function, do that function, Madhyarakan sir and others. So everybody was helping, not only for arranging the program, but also making us to be interested and also attending, motivating regularly. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your
Thank you so much, ma'am.
nice feedback. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody there?
Sachi, you wanted to say something? Anybody else? Any another couple of people who can please talk about the. Yes.
Hello, Dr. Shachi here.
Yes, Dr. Sach.
Good evening to all. And first of all, I want to thank the wonderful team for organizing this FDP. The topic is very innovative, and the unique thing which I find in this FDP is that most of the major of the resource persons are from industry. The insights that we are getting from industry, the practical things from the real world that are coming to us, they are giving us more insights about the circular economy, because we read the research papers, we read the books, we read the theories, and while going to the lectures, we just need to connect the industry and academia. So the resource persons which are coming from the industry, they are giving us real insights of the industry while talking about this topic. So that is a true learning of this FDP, that what actually is going in industry, that we can take to our classrooms, that we can take to our lectures. So this is a unique thing which I find in this FDP.
Okay, Dr. Sachi, for the nice feedback. We are looking for more collaboration in the future also. Whenever you need any information further about this area, please contact us. We are happy to support you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you, Professor Sachi. Another resource person, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, has joined. Okay. So over to Mr. Lakshmi Narayan to present about us. He will be talking about circular economy and sustainability in manufacturing area. Okay. Yeah, please. Over to you, Mr. Lakshmi.
Thank you, Mr. Haridhan. And good evening, everyone. So the topic which I am going to talk about today is the circular economy and the sustainability in the manufacturing industry. And hope I am audible.
Yes,
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 sir.
you are
Yes,
audible.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Lakshmi.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So take, make, and dispose. So this concept is it's like outdated one now, because the resources are finite. Earlier, it used to be the infinite resources, because the industries were very less, and their main motto was to produce as much as they can. But now, since the resources are finite, and like we have a constraint to use the resource, and so this take, make, and dispose is outdated. And most of the companies, they're also not fighting for the survival, because company is fighting for survival, they have to just look at the numbers, like how much they are producing and how much they are getting as a profit. But now most of the companies, they want to excel in their industry, and more than that, they want to maintain a sustainable competitive advantage. So when I talk about the sustainable competitive advantage, it is about the value they create in their product. And so to talk more about that, I like there are three principles in the circular economy which I just wanted to touch upon. So one is that the eliminate waste and the pollution. So earlier, I mean, it's like even now, the focus is the managing the waste, or how do we reduce the waste and all those things. But the shift is focus. I mean, like it's changing from managing the waste to preventing the waste from getting created. So this is done, through a design which is eco-friendly design. And the eco-friendly design, what I meant by is like there are some parts which can be reused or remanufactured, and they need not change the complete product. So there is a necessity for a design of longevity. Longevity means like the durability. and should be designed for a longer period of time. I mean, it's like if the product is put into use, it should work for a longer period of time. That is what the customer expects. And if a company meets that expectation, yes, that company is creating a value out of its products. And I mean, like whenever we are designing a product, we should also consider that the products or the components in it should be easily repairable, and it should be easily interchangeable. And again, the manufacturing, it should be remanufacturing also. So let me give you an example for the remanufacturing and interchangeable. So in our industry, we use the pumps, which are predominantly used for pumping a fluid from one location to other location, and to feed the water to the boiler for power generations. And many more applications we use the pumps. So in the pumps, there are a lot more products or individual components which is being used and assembled. So the pump manufacturer designs the pump, keeping in mind that these parts, because generally the rotating parts have a wear and tear. And so the design should be in such a way that these rotating parts are easily replaceable, or or interchangeable. For example, the bearing, if we take a bearing in the pump, it can be interchangeable easily. So, and whenever there is a problem in the bearing, they just need to replace it with a newer one, and that reduces a lot of time and the money. And again, if we go one level down, so the bearing manufacturer also uses this concept, the eco design. So if they want to replace a bearing, it is not needed to replace the entire bearing, because the bearing has, again, many components. The outer casing, that we call it as an housing, and inside the housing we have a different type of the bearing materials. For example, if it is a ball bearing, the balls will be placed inside the housing, and that facilitates the I mean, it's like it facilitates the rotation of the pump. And so if a component, for example, if a housing is damaged or repaired, and instead of changing the entire bearing, we can just save the or change the housing. So there is one classic example where SKF has adopted this concept in one of the cement manufacturing plant in Turkey, where they have replaced this housing, and because of this, they could almost save 60% of cost, and they could reduce almost 34 tons of CO2 equivalent. Instead of manufacturing the entire bearing, they just replace this housing. And the second core principle of circular economy is the circulate the input. So the process, the output of one process becomes the input of the other process. That's what we do in the circular economy. Like, say for example, because I come from a wastewater treatment plant, and we generally, our system is designed in such a way that we don't discharge any liquid. So, and we recover 90 to 95% of the wastewater. So wastewater comes from two sources mainly. One is from the effluent. One we call it as an effluent that comes from the process, and the second one is the sewage water that comes from the other uses. What we usually do, like using of washrooms and all those things. So the both this water will have to go through a different set of process. And so we designed in such a way that we recover almost 95%, 90 to 95% of the wastewater. And we also have a system called zero liquid discharge. So basically, because of this, the stringent norms which is being followed by all the pollution control boards across India, like we simply cannot discharge the water into the river or any freshwater source. And so to comply with that norms, we use a concept called, or a technology called, zero liquid discharge, and basically what it does is the remaining the 5 or 10% of water, which will be a sludge in nature. So that sludge water will get converted into a salt. So through the evaporation process. And that salt, it's sent out of the plant through a trucks, and that salt can also be used for the commercial salt manufacturing company, because that salt might contain the sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, potassium sulfate, and gypsums. So basically, these salts can be used in cement industries as well. So this is how the products are recycled to the possible extent. And again, to improve the operational efficiency of this evaporation process, there are technologies which is coming up, and one recent technology is MVRE, which is called mechanical vapor recompression process. And so that reduces the OPEX cost by 45%. So thereby it saves the in terms of money it is saving, and in terms of energy it is also saving. And there is one more example I would like to give. So we all know Ford Motors. And Ford Motors, what it does is like it uses the aluminum of different grades for the different parts of a car. And generally, when they are cutting the aluminum or stamping the aluminum to the different requirements, 30 to 40% will be the waste. And so what they do is like this 40% of the aluminum scrap, they will segregate. I mean, it's like initially they will collect, they will sort out, and they will segregate. They also employ a system called automatic pneumatic system, which does all these things. And once the scrap aluminum is segregated, it is sent back to the supplier for remelting. And by doing this, they save almost 95% of the energy in melting the aluminum. Because usually, if, for example, if we melt aluminum from aluminum ore, so that if that requires an 100% energy, by doing this remelting, they only consume 5% of the energy. So this is very great number in terms of the operational cost and the emissions. And the third one, which I would like to touch upon, is the regenerative nature. So regenerative nature, because the circular economy does not limit only to the reducing the negative environmental effect. It also extends to create a positive impact to the environment by giving back to the nature. And so there is one company which is run by my friend. So the company is based out of Chennai. The company predominantly is a design-based company, but they also manufacture products, and they manufacture the office tables and the chairs from the cardboards. Because cardboard itself is a recycled product, from the paper. And again, this out-of-box company, so that's the company name. So they make tables and chairs, and they also test it for the load, of course. And after the life of this table, so this can be recycled again, or it can be sent it to, it can be decomposed. So this is one way of giving back to the nature, like taking from the nature and giving back to the nature. And the other sustainable solution is the deboom concept, because deboom is nothing but design, build, own, operate, and maintain it. So basically, a company my earlier company, which do this deboom projects. So basically, they will have a tie-up with the water boards across India. They will construct. The company will invest on the capital infrastructures. They will design and they will construct the plant, and they will operate on behalf of the customer. And the pricing model will be per liter of water, wastewater treated. And this gives an incentive for the company to implement the new technologies. And they also, like my earlier company has also, they have a patented technology called carrier gas extraction. So in that technology, they almost saved 45% of the operation cost. And so this with, I mean, like this is just one part of the perspective, like where we can conserve nature. At the same time, we can reduce the usage of resources, or we can reduce the emissions. And we can also achieve sustainability by leveraging the IT technologies. So one such technology is like using the sensors, like Internet of Things. So we use sensors in the physical goods, and we connect that to the panel, where we monitor the health of the component, or the health of the rotating component. Let's say for this example, the pump. So we monitor the health of the pump, and whenever we need the preventive maintenance, we will plan in advance, and so that the process doesn't stop. And I mean, it's like, what if it is breakdown? So the preventive, if by doing preventive maintenance, we will avoid breaking down of the plant, and that also saves a lot of money. And the second one is, there is one leading pump manufacturer who has implemented augmented reality in their product. Like basically, they created an app for the pump. So that app will give a complete details about the pump, including the exploded view. So if the customer is having access to that application, like probably like the requirement of a service person from the manufacturer is not required, because it's self-explanatory, and the customer can just explode the pump, and they can install by themselves, and they can also even do the troubleshooting. So this saves the travel of the employees from the manufacturer point of view, and that will again helps in reducing the emissions related to the travel, and the cost associated to it. So yeah, so the circular economy, as I mean, of course, there are many things which needs to be done in the manufacturing industries, but yeah, these are the basic things which I would like to touch upon. And yeah, so thank you. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Hello.
Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi, for talking about circular economy and how it can be used in manufacturing sector. The focus on this. Thanks. Any question? Anybody who has got? Okay.
Okay, if there are no questions, thank you, Mr. Lakshmi. Okay, now we invite Ajit to discuss about the same topic, where he'll be talking about from his domain. So now we heard from pumps and organo water solutions, whereas we'll now discuss about other manufacturing setups, which will be discussed by Mr. Ajit. Okay, Ajit, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Hariharan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
And you can see the screen as well, right?
Yeah, sir, everything is audible and clear and loud. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, okay, sir, fine. So let me talk regarding this one. So sustainability is not a choice today because it's a mandatory requirement, especially for the manufacturing industry. Last day we have seen that manufacturing is the second largest industry in the world that is polluting more. But with respect to the sustainability and circular economy initiatives of organizations, we have to consider large organizations and SMEs. So large organizations take it as a self-initiative. They have huge funding to do this, but at the same time, small organizations may not be having the funding, and they may not be very keen to do these type of initiatives. That is my personal experience interacting with the multiple people in the small scale industries. At the same time, once we consider the self initiatives on sustainability as well as circular economy versus the government regulations, as like in the earlier session, we have seen that, okay, government regulations, pollution control board initiatives are there, which every manufacturing unit has to mandatorily adhere to. So this is becoming very important to have something like, okay, first level waste as well as water treatment plant should be part of the manufacturing unit. So without that, the government is not going to, especially the pollution control board, is not going to give the permission to start a business. So then even small organizations will be forced to make that one. And there'll be frequent checks as well as such initiatives are there from the pollution control board, both central pollution control board as well as state-related pollution control boards. So then the manufacturing small units will also be following these regulations, and they will be managing the waste as well as the treating the first level treatment for the effluent water. But at the same time, you can see that, okay, large organizations in the manufacturing sector, they really understand the importance of this, and they have enough budget allocated for this, and circular economy as well as sustainability is part of their strategic initiatives. And every year, these large organizations release their initiatives as a report as well, so that you can see from different large manufacturing organizations. So coming to the sustainability initiatives, can you just guess when did this initiative started in the world? So is it part of industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 or 4.0? Today, anyway, we are moving towards industry 5.0. Where could be the starting point for the sustainability initiatives by manufacturing organizations? Can someone answer? Okay, this started in after 1972. So that means it is during the industry 3.0. Obviously, the reason for that is, okay, 1.0, definitely machines were not involved, and a small number of machines were involved in industry 2.0. And at that time, even concern about sustainability, or even the term sustainability was not there, and concern about global warming, pollution, all those things were not that critical in industry 1.0 and 2.0. So when industry 3.0 came, that was in 1960s, then the production system entirely got changed. So mass production came because of introduction of machineries and introduction of 3 full shifts, 8 into 3, 24 hours, 24/7 manufacturing came at that time. So because of that, what happened, more pollution and more waste, all those things came to picture. So the initiatives of sustainability in manufacturing organizations started sometime in mid 1970s. So it's a commitment to adhere to sustainability initiatives today. So every organization, large or small, will be having the target, something like a reduction of greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, net zero emission by 2050, and adoption of renewable energy like wind energy as well as solar power, rather than going for electricity as well as generators that use either kerosene or diesel. So these adoptions really helped to go ahead with their sustainability initiatives, which is going to happen in near future, just like net zero emission as well as reducing the greenhouse gases by the organizations. So as part of this, what really happened is a selection of suppliers, because it's not only a single entity taking care of the sustainability initiative. It's an ecosystem of a number of organizations in the manufacturing sector. For example, any large manufacturing organization, there will be a number of suppliers providing them the raw materials as well as semi-finished products. So unless the large organization is not able to bring the small suppliers who are again adhering to sustainability initiatives, the entire cycle will not be fulfilling what is really required. So the selection of suppliers also really required, as well as educating them. Take the example of a new supplier is added to the ecosystem. It has to ensure that the new supplier is aware of the implications of these initiatives and adhering to that and providing the product based out of the sustainability initiatives is really required. And energy optimization and carbon footprint management is part of the sustainability initiatives, which is very, very important. So last day we have seen how ITC is optimizing the energy by investing huge on monitoring the equipments as well as the energy consumption. And the optimal use of resources and materials as well as the elimination of waste is also part of it. Unless your product optimization or you optimize the raw materials and resources, and then you'll not be able to come out with the minimal waste. So you might have heard about the initiatives like JIT, just in time, which is introduced by Japanese people. If you take that initiative where the product is manufactured in real time, just based on what exactly really required to produce, they will not be keeping the raw materials excess, and they will not be having the finished products excess manufactured. So instead of that, okay, based on the market demand, okay, how many pieces of the product has to be produced. So they will be making it in real time so that the waste as well as the process is optimized and waste can be minimized. And then comes the performance analytics on premises. So today manufacturing organizations are investing heavily to ensure that the production process as well as the output from that is readily available in the shop floor itself for quick decision making. So that comes a monitoring of the devices, its output, the conditions. So IoT, cloud-related technologies are really helping to implement such initiatives. Smart maintenance and process optimization through digitalization and transformation. So basically this comes where AI technologies are heavily used in terms of predictive maintenance, using AI techniques. The sound and vibration of the machineries will be measured, and the usage of fuel is, or the electricity consumption exceeding a certain limit. All those things will be monitored, and using deep learning technologies, the predictive maintenance is there. So what time the machine has to be maintained properly, any inspection is required, all those things will be part of it. And the workflow optimization and improved safety. So that is also part of these initiatives. Though it is not circular economy, definitely it is part of sustainability initiatives where we adhere to the 17 SDGs, where the proper working conditions should be and safety should be maintained for the workers. So that is also part of such initiatives. To monitor and detect water and oil leakages in transmission and distribution network. So this is becoming something which is very, very hidden. So under the underground transmission lines will also be there. So that can have the water or oil leakages possible. So newer technology is really helping whether any leakage is there in any of these production lines. Unless it is not visible outside, sometimes what will happen, the leak will be very deep inside that, which cannot come outside. Still, the leakage of oil as well as waste of water will happen. So newer technology is really helping to do that. And AR/VR based solutions for real-time decision making and trainings. So augmented reality, we have seen in the last presentation where augmented reality based inspection and all those things were implemented by Cummins. Similarly, virtual reality based trainings are also possible with the help of headsets. So rather than a particular machinery or a production line is operating without much production, so just for the training purpose. So this can all be done with AR and VR based solutions rather than really the employees getting the training from the production line. The first level of trainings can be using these technologies, and then they can move to the actual production line. And sustainable and green manufacturing, that is also important with the energy sources, just like renewable energy, either solar or wind power, and optimize the process through automation. So automation is becoming very, very important in manufacturing industries today. Any medium as well as large organizations will be having up to 95% of automation in the manufacturing sector. So only 5% of human beings are really required. So take the example of ITC, where ITC is having 6,000 plus employees, and ITC is having an ITC Infotech division, which is having 9,000 plus employees. So the 9,000 plus employees, the total turnover is hardly $250, $300 million. At the same time, ITC Limited with 6,000 plus employees, today it is a 65,000 crores large organization. So every ITC factory is having in the shop floor, maybe less than 10 people will be there, and the remaining all done by automated machineries. So circular design and remanufacturing. So the concept is now becoming very, very important. Every manufacturing companies will be trying for circular design as well as taking some components from the manufactured product that can go as part of the remanufacturing process. To take the example of Samsung or even Apple, where they manufacture smartphones. So the newer phones which are having high-end cameras, so that can go as remanufactured product in next 2 or 3 years in low-end phones. So that is the circular design as well as the remanufacturing initiatives happening in the industry today. Minimizing waste via recycling and the circular economy models is also part of the initiatives of manufacturing companies. And improving supply chains, ethics, and transparency with optimize the route optimization, etc., will be done with proper mapping and other stuffs using technology.
Sir, your voice is breaking. Ajit sir, your voice is breaking.
Sir, is it okay now?
Now it's fine.
Okay. So optimize the material use of recycled materials. So that is part of remanufacturing as well as circular economy initiatives of the organization. And connected manufacturing for optimized manufacturing. So that is becoming very, very important today. So what is connected manufacturing? So take the example of a production line or assembly line. So today what happens like the product is manufactured in a production line or in an assembly line, and that line is not connected with other lines. So the connected manufacturing concept is like, okay, one manufacturing production line is connected with other lines within the same factory, or one factory is connected with another factory. So that information sharing is really possible with the IoT as well as cloud technologies, and then decisions can be taken on the production. So this is a connected manufacturing where full utilization of the existing system. To take an example that in a factory, there are 5 different production lines, and based on the utilization of the lines, when the demand comes for production, definitely from the ERP systems, this can be routed to the appropriate line so that all different lines, all 5 lines will be equally loaded. So this is similar to the load balancing concept that is in the computer internet technologies. So because of that, what will happen? The increased efficiency is achieved and the product quality is going to be higher because it is optimized the production in each line and better worker experience. So rather than one line is fully there and the people involved in that line is fully occupied. So if it is distributed, they will be equally loaded with that. And because of that, what will happen? The waste will be lesser and the reduced operational cost also. So there are analytical solutions from the software industry like IBM Planning Analytics with the Watson. IBM Watson is their IoT platform. So the IoT platform will be able to collect the parameters related to the emissions as well as the carbon footprint with the different categories, and it will be able to give the analytics in real time for decision making. The process improvement and technology adoption is there in today's manufacturing industry with automation using AI, robotics, and IIoT. IIoT means industrial Internet of Things, and adoption of digital tools for real-time data analysis from the sensors, data-driven decisions, and optimized processes to reduce the waste. And the assets care enhancement is also part of this one with the predictive maintenance. So I'll run a video that one of the major players of industry, Siemens, so what are their sustainability initiatives? Please let me know if you are able to.
Aware of the looming danger of global.
Are you able to hear the voice from this?
Yes, sir.
Warming, major
Yes, yes.
corporations in every sector have begun taking strides to check climate change and preserve the environment for future generations. However, some within the sustainability movement believe that the real lever for change rests in the collective hands of small to medium-sized enterprises, better known as SMEs. SMEs contribute to every stage of the supply chain, and their collective efforts will initiate exponential progress unachievable by large corporations alone, said Anthony Casciano, Siemens Financial Services Inc.'s president and CEO. Over the last decade, Siemens has made a name for itself in sustainability circles by developing key initiatives to help society wean itself from fossil fuel dependency, integrate renewable energy sources into power systems, and electrify transportation. While these efforts are essential, Casciano believes that SME empowerment could prove to be even more pivotal in the decarbonization efforts. Individually, SME carbon footprints are small, but as a whole, their impact is colossal. If such organizations could eliminate or even reduce their carbon footprints, the positive environmental effects would resonate for decades. Motivations are present, but many firms lack the skills, strategic direction, or technical knowledge required to act on their aspirations. These are troubling gaps. But fortunately, one corporate player is already stepping up to help. Since its founding in 1847, Siemens has worked to establish itself as a globally responsible innovator that weighs technological progress and socially responsible action equally. 6 years ago, it was one of the first major corporations to commit to achieving climate neutrality. In the years since, Siemens has established even more ambitious sustainability goals, including a 20% reduction in emissions across all regions by 2030. And a fully net zero supply chain by 2050. In 2020 alone, the company's USA region empowered its customers to save a whopping 150 million metric tons of CO2. Siemens consultants take the time to connect with SME leaders, understand their goals, establish a viable sustainability strategy, implement any necessary technology, and deliver a tailored financing strategy. Today, Siemens stands as one of the foremost players in financing greenfield renewable projects and has helped countless businesses meet their decarbonization goals. Everything that SMEs need to help save the planet is available, Casciano summarized. Now we must work together to harness the potential.
So why I took this Siemens video is because Siemens is very conscious about sustainability initiatives in their process as well as every product that they manufacture. Siemens is one of the industry leaders in providing hardware as well as software solutions for many manufacturing organizations. So with this initiative, they are able to ensure that their carbon footprint is reduced. At the same time, all their customers who use their products, they're also getting the benefit out of that. So digital twin, this is going to be a very, very interesting area in near future because in manufacturing industry, a new product is designed and the product is going through different rounds of refinement until the product is made final, released to the market. So if we are having a digital twin, which is a digital equivalent of a physical machine or a human being, or it can be a process, or it can be a production or assembly line. So any of these four categories can have a digital twin. So the advantage is that the digital twin is developed using softwares. So as you know that, any change in software you can make easily without impacting the environment. Rather than manufacturing a product, testing it, and then making a lot of changes, and again manufacturing it and removing some of the components and installing new components. So all those things can be really reduced once we use the digital twin. That's why the digital twin concept is becoming very, very popular today. So this is going to be having huge impact to the society as well as to the environment. This is one of the initiative which happened in near a couple of years ago, in fact, and it is becoming very, very popular. And in the next decade, this will be one of the core technologies in the market. So smart manufacturing with industrial automation, this is very much required for reporting the sustainability initiatives in real time from the production line or the manufacturing systems, energy savings. So now the thing is everything is automated, very, very minimal human intervention is really required in the manufacturing process. So once you have the production planning is there, you have the design, and then everything is put to the machine and the machine is going to do all these things. We'll be able to get a lot of inputs in terms of your reports with the sensors as well as automated solutions. So that will help to do the analytics with the AI as well as data analytics and to give the inference to you in your HMI so that you will be able to take a decision based on that. And smarter control of machineries, safety in factories, remote monitoring of the machineries, and speed time to market, optimize the production. All those things will be part of the smart manufacturing initiatives. This is going to have positive impact to the environment as well as to the society in terms of reducing the waste as well as reducing greenhouse gas emissions and remanufacturing with the circular economy principles. So I'll run with one more video. So that is one of the initiatives of ITC Limited for contributing to the sustainability. As you may know that, ITC started as a tobacco manufacturing company. So even today, they understand that, there is a huge criticism from across the world having the tobacco products company. So they diversified into other business areas like foods, hotel chains, as well as agarbatti and all. Then they have invested a lot for the planet as well as for the people. So their initiative is not related to energy utilization or reducing the carbon footprint. At the same time, they do a lot of things for the human beings as well. So this video will tell those initiatives. So ITC is one of the large organizations contributing to multiple SDGs at the same time that you have seen, right? It's not only one or two areas where they are contributing. So I'm open for any questions. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Okay. So one of the initiatives that you have seen that each of our people from North and Northeast India may be knowing it. So one of the initiatives from ITC which brings the local farmers up. ITC is lending money for them, and the beginning of the harvesting period, they have to commit a rate for the